Pricing analysis. Meaning of price and pricing. Price, the amount a customer pays for a product or service. Pricing, the process of deciding the right price for a product service. Definition. Kite. Pricing is a managerial task that involves setting objectives, considering factors, determining value, and applying pricing policies and strategies to get the best results. Key points to remember. Price is what a customer pays, e.g. $500 for a t-shirt. Pricing is how a company decides the price, e.g. considering costs, demand, and competition. Pricing includes setting goals, deciding strategies, implementing, and controlling. Example for better understanding. Price. You buy a burger for $100. That $100 is the price. Pricing. The restaurant decides the burger price by checking cost of ingredients, competitor prices, and demand. Short trick to remember. PSV-SI. Price and pricing. Meaning. S. Setting objectives. Why price matters. V. Value in money. Product's worth. S. Strategies and policies. How to decide. I. Implementation and control. Final execution. Just remember PSVA to recall the pricing process easily. Objectives of pricing. Pricing is not just about setting a price. It has many goals based on business strategy. Let's understand them in simple terms. Key objectives of pricing. 1. Profit maximization, short term. Goal, earn maximum profit in a short time. Example, luxury brands like Rolex or Ferrari charge very high prices for exclusivity and quick profits. 2. Profit optimization, long term. Goal, focus on sustainable profit instead of quick, high profits. Example, a mobile company like Samsung keeps reasonable pricing to retain customers for years. Price stabilization. Goal, keep prices stable to maintain customer confidence and brand reputation. Example, Coca-Cola rarely changes prices frequently, maintaining trust. 4. Facing competition. Goal, set a price that beats competitor products and gains market share. Example, Pepsi and Coca-Cola continuously adjust their prices to compete. 5. Maintaining market share. Goal, ensure consistent sales and avoid losing market position. Example, Maruti Suzuki in India keeps prices affordable to hold the largest share in the car market. 6. Capturing the market. Goal, sell at low prices initially, even at a loss, to remove small competitors and dominate. Example, Jio offered free data at launch to capture the telecom market. 7. Entry into new markets. Goal, set flexible pricing when expanding to new markets. Example, Tesla first launched in the US and later adjusted prices for entry into India and Europe. 8. Market penetration. Goal, set a low price to attract a large number of customers. Example, Amazon gives heavy discounts to attract more buyers. Achieving target return. Goal, ensure pricing meets the target profit over time. Example, Apple sets iPhone prices based on its projected profit goals. Ability to pay. Goal, price products based on customer affordability. Example, Mercedes-Benz for high-income groups. Tata Nano for budget-conscious buyers. Short trick to remember, P3C MEMPA profit, short-term and long-term. Price stabilization. Penetration, market entry, and deep reach. Competition handling. Market share maintenance. Market capturing. E, entry, target return. A, ability to pay. Will help you recall pricing objectives quickly. Factors influencing pricing. Pricing decisions are affected by 2 types of factors: internal factors inside the company and external factors outside the company. Let's understand them easily. 1. Internal factors within the company. I. Organizational factors. Who decides the price? Top level decides the overall pricing range. Lower level managers fine-tune the exact price based on market conditions. Example, In Tata Motors, the CEO decides the price range, but the marketing team finalizes the exact price. II marketing mix. Price is just one factor in marketing. If product cost increases, prices may rise to cover advertising, production, and distribution costs. Example, Nike spends a lot on marketing, so it prices products higher. Product differentiation. Unique features equals higher price. If a product has better design, color, packaging, after-sales service, or trendy appeal, customers may pay more. Example, Apple iPhones charge more due to unique design and brand loyalty. IV, cost of product. Production cost affects price. If raw materials, labor, or machinery costs increase, the company may increase prices to cover the cost. Example, if steel prices rise, car prices increase. V, objectives of the firm. Company goals influence pricing. Charity-based companies lower prices, no profit, no loss. Market share growth. Prices are lower than competitors to attract customers. Luxury brands maintain high prices for exclusivity. Example, Reliance Jio initially priced its services low to attract customers. Two external factors outside the company. I, demand. Higher demand equals higher price. If many people want a product but supply is low, prices increase. Example, PlayStation 5 was expensive at launch due to high demand. Competition. Prices depend on market rivals. If competitors lower prices, a company may also reduce its price to stay competitive. Example, Pepsi and Coca-Cola adjust prices based on each other. Raw material costs affect product prices. If suppliers charge more, companies increase product prices to maintain profits. Example, if cotton prices rise, t-shirt prices go up. IV, economic conditions. Inflation, prices rise, deflation equals prices drop. Example, during inflation, gold prices rise as production costs increase. Buyers. Customer purchasing power matters. If a product is too expensive, customers may stop buying it. Example, if smartphones become too costly, buyers may shift to budget brands like Redmi. Government. Government controls some prices. Some products have price regulations to protect consumers. Example, petrol, gas, and medicines have price caps set by the government. Short trick to remember, OMPCO and DCS-EBG. Internal factors, OMPCO, organization factors. M, marketing mix. P, product differentiation. Cost of product. O, objectives of the firm. External factors, DCS-EB demand. C, competition. C, suppliers. E, economic conditions. B, buyers. OMPCO for internal and DCS-EBG for external will help you recall pricing factors easily. Pricing methods. Companies use different pricing methods based on cost, competition, customer demand, and other factors. Let's understand them in simple terms. 1. Cost-oriented pricing methods. These methods focus on covering the cost and ensuring a profit. I. Full cost, markup, cost plus pricing. Cost plus profit, final price. Example, a shopkeeper buys a pen for 10 and adds 5 as profit. Final price. I. Marginal incremental pricing. Only extra cost is considered, not total cost. Example, a bus has empty seats. The company offers last-minute tickets at 50 instead of 100 to fill them. Break-even pricing. Price set to cover costs, no profit, no loss. Example, if a startup spends 1,000 making products and sells each of those at 500, they need to sell 200 units to break even. IV. Rate on return target pricing. Price is set to achieve a target profit percentage. Example, a company wants 20% profit, so it sets a price ensuring this margin. 2. Competition-oriented pricing methods. Prices are set based on competitor strategies. Parity going rate pricing. Price is equal to competitors. Example, if Pepsi sells a bottle for 40, Coca-Cola also prices it at 40. Discount pricing. Lower price to attract customers. Example, Flipkart's Big Billion Days sale. Premium pricing, high price for exclusive products. Example, Rolex watches are expensive due to brand value. Tender, sealed bid pricing. Companies bid for contracts, lowest bid wins. Example, government construction projects and invite tenders. 3 other pricing policies. Special pricing strategies for different situations. I, value-based pricing. Price based on customers' perception of value. Example, Apple iPhones charge more due to perceived quality. Product line pricing. Different price levels for different versions. Example, Samsung offers budget, mid-range, and premium phones. Loss leader pricing. Sell a product at a loss to attract customers. Example, supermarkets sell sugar at a loss to attract customers to buy other items. V, peak load pricing. Higher prices during demand peaks. Example, Uber charges more during rush hours. V, affordability-based pricing. Price is set so the target audience can afford it. Example, Tata Nano was priced low to be affordable for middle-class families. V, price discrimination, differentiated pricing. Different customers pay different prices. Example, airlines charge different fares for economy and business class. V, prestige pricing. Price is kept high to create a luxury image. Example, Gucci bags are expensive to maintain exclusivity. V, and demand-based pricing. Prices change based on demand. Example, during festivals, hotel prices increase. IX, cycle pricing. Prices change based on the product lifecycle stage. Example, new mobile phones launch at a high price, then drop after a few months. Short trick to remember, FMBRP and PDPT, and VPLP, APLP, DPMC. Cost-oriented pricing, F, full cost markup. Marginal pricing. B, break-even pricing. R, rate of return. Competition-oriented pricing, PDPT. P, discount pricing. P, premium pricing. Tamium pricing. Other pricing policies, VPL, PADPM seen. Value-based pricing. Product line pricing. L, loss leader pricing. Peak load pricing. A, affordability-based pricing. D, differentiated pricing. P, prestige pricing. And market-based pricing. Just remember FMBRP, PDPT, VPLPA, DPMC to recall all pricing methods easily. Cost-oriented pricing policies. These pricing methods focus on the cost of production as the main factor in deciding the selling price. Let's break them down simply. 1. Full cost, markup, cost plus pricing. Formula, price equals cost plus profit. Example, a car company makes a car for $4,000. If they want a 30% profit, the selling price will be $4,000 with 1 minus 0.3 equals 5,071,428 and fee 77. Advantages, simple and quick to calculate, helps maintain price stability, easy to justify on ethical grounds. Disadvantages, ignores demand and competition, assumes all competitors agree on the same price, complex overhead cost calculation. 2. Marginal cost pricing, incremental cost pricing. Focuses only on extra costs, marginal costs, and not total cost. Useful for short-term price reductions to compete in the market. Example, a flight has empty seats before departure. The airline offers last-minute tickets at a lower price to cover only fuel costs, not fixed costs like staff salaries. Advantages, helps sell extra stock quickly. Suitable for companies with multiple products and markets. Useful throughout a product's life cycle. Disadvantages, not suitable for long-term pricing. Company may not make any profit. Many managers don't understand this method. 3. Break-even pricing, BEP. No profit, no loss pricing method. Break-even point, BEP, total cost equals total revenue. Formula, BEP, units equals fixed costs, selling price variable cost. Example, a company has fixed costs of 100,000 and sells each unit for 100 with a variable cost of 50. BEP equals 100,000 for 100 minus 50 equals 2,000 units. At 2,000 units, no profit, no loss. Advantages. Helps businesses know when they start making a profit. Useful for competitive pricing strategies. Disadvantages. Assumes constant fixed costs, which may change. Ignores market demand and competitor pricing. #4 Rate of return, target pricing. Price is set to achieve a specific profit percentage, mainly used by large firms with investment targets. Example, a bakery sells 1,000 breads per day. Cost per bread equals 6. Profit per bread equals 4. Selling price equals 10 per bread. Advantages. Ensures a fixed return on investment. Good for businesses with high capital investment. Disadvantages. Ignores market demand and competition. Can lead to overpricing if profit targets are too high. Short trick to remember: FMBR, full cost pricing; M, marginal cost pricing; B, break-even pricing; R, rate of return pricing. Just remember FMBR. To recall, customer demand-oriented pricing policies. These pricing methods are based on customer demand, not the production cost. The company sets the price based on what customers are willing to pay and then adjusts production costs accordingly. Key concept: demand and price relationship. High demand equals low price. More people buy, price can be reduced. Low demand equals high price. Fewer buyers, price is increased. Example, a movie theater charges $300 per ticket on weekdays, low demand, and $150 on weekends, high demand. Customers are willing to pay more when fewer people go and expect discounts when demand is high. Short trick to remember: DMP, D, demand-based. M, P, price adjusted to demand. Just remember DMP to recall the demand-oriented pricing policy. Competition-oriented pricing policies. This pricing strategy is based on what competitors charge rather than focusing on costs or customer demand. The company adjusts its prices according to the market competition. Types of competition-oriented pricing. 1. Parity pricing, going rate pricing. The company matches the price of competitors. Best for new businesses entering the market. Prevents price wars by keeping prices the same. Example, a new soft drink brand prices its bottle at $40, similar to Coca-Cola and Pepsi, to stay competitive. 2. Discount pricing, pricing below competitors. The company sets a lower price than competitors. Helps attract customers and increase sales. Used by new businesses with limited funds. Example, a new mobile brand launches a smartphone at $10,000, while competitors sell similar models at $12,000 to gain market share. 3. Premium pricing, pricing above competitors. The company charges more than competitors. Creates a perception of higher quality. Works for trusted brands with strong reputations. Example, Apple sells iPhones at a higher price than other smartphones, promoting superior quality and brand value. Sealed bid pricing, tongue thing. Companies submit secret bids for contracts, used in government and industrial projects. The price includes production costs plus expected profit. Example, a construction company bids 50 crore for a government highway project, considering both costs and competition. Short trick to remember: PDPS. Parity pricing equal to competitors. DEET, discount pricing below competitors. P, premium pricing above competitors. S, sealed bid pricing, bidding for contracts. Just remember PDPS to recall competition-oriented pricing policies. Pricing analysis, simple explanation with examples. 1. Value-based pricing. Price is set based on how much value the product gives to customers. Not just about recovering costs, but about meeting customer expectations. Example, iPhone is priced high because people value its brand, security, and camera quality. Customers will pay a premium if they think the value is worth it. Key points: value, price. Cost, profit, and long run. Price, value, cost, customers switch to other brands. Price, cost, value, bad reputation, low sales. Price equals value, cost, best situation for long-term success. Hack 2. Product line pricing. A company prices different but related products in a way that maximizes overall sales. Example, Samsung sells budget, mid-range, and premium smartphones. They ensure customers have options without direct competition between their own models. Chat subtypes. 1. Price bundling, offering discounts on grouped products, e.g. hotel stay plus free breakfast. 2. Premium pricing, charging more for better features, e. 4K smart TV versus regular TV. 3. Image pricing, setting higher prices to show premium quality, e.g. branded clothes versus local clothes. 4. Complementary pricing, extra charges, e.g. buying a car plus registration fees. 5. Captive pricing, selling products together, e.g. printerless ink cartridges. 6. Two-part pricing, fixed fee plus variable charges, e.g. gym membership, personal trainer fee. 3. Loss leader pricing, selling one product at a lower price to attract customers who buy other profitable products. Example, McDonald's offers cheap fries but profits from drinks and burgers. Amazon Kindle is sold cheap, but customers buy expensive ebooks later. Key characteristics. Customers should know the real price of similar products. Should encourage bulk buying. Price reduction should attract attention, but not feel like low quality. 4. Peak load pricing, charging higher prices during peak demand and lower prices in off-peak times. Example, flight tickets cost more during holiday seasons. Electricity is costlier during the day than at night. Challenges. Hard to predict peak demand. Customers may feel discriminated against. 5. Affordability-based pricing, used for essential products where prices are controlled for affordability. Example, cooking gas subsidy to ensure everyone can afford it. Government fair price shops selling food grains at controlled prices. 6. Discriminatory differential pricing. Different customers pay different prices based on factors like bulk buying or payment mode. Example, wholesale buyers get discounts compared to retail buyers. EMI versus full payment customers get a discount. 7. Prestige pricing. High price is set to attract customers who want luxury and status. Example, Rolex watches, luxury cars, and penthouse apartments. People pay extra not just for quality, but for exclusivity. 8. Market and demand-based pricing. Price is set after studying demand and customer willingness to pay. Example, Uber surge pricing. Prices increase when demand is high. Concert tickets. Higher demand leads to higher prices. 9. Pricing in different market structures. Market type. Description. Example, pure competition. Many sellers, same product, price remains same. Wheat monopolistic competition. Many sellers, but product variations. Clothing brands, oligopoly, few sellers dominate. Airlines, telecom, monopoly, one seller, no competition. Railways, electricity. 10. Cycle pricing. Prices change based on economic cycles. Phase strategy. Low sales. Lower prices to boost demand. Expansion, growing sales. Slight price increase. Boom, high demand, maximize profits. Recession, declining demand, discounts and installment options. Example, real estate, prices drop in recession and rise in an economy. Shortcut trick to remember. VIP PPL seeing V, value-based pricing. I, image pricing. P, peak load pricing. P, prestige pricing. L, loss leader pricing. C, cycle pricing. M, market-based pricing. D, discriminatory pricing. Easy to recall for exams. Types of pricing practices, simplified explanation. Pricing practices refer to different strategies companies use to set prices for their products based on market conditions, competition, and business objectives. Below are the major pricing practices. Hashnota 1, product life cycle pricing. A product goes through different stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Pricing changes at each stage to match demand and competition. Example, a new smartphone is priced high at launch, introduction, becomes affordable as demand rises, growth, may get discounts to compete, maturity, and finally sold at clearance prices, decline. Penetration pricing. Setting a low price initially to attract customers and gain market share. Once demand increases, the price may rise. Example, Jio SIM cards in India were free at first to attract users. Later, they introduced paid plans. 3. Skimming pricing. Setting a high price initially to target customers who are willing to pay more. Price is reduced later to attract other customers. Example, Apple launches iPhones at a high price, then lowers the price after a few months. 4. Geographic pricing strategy.
It's great to meet you.
Setting costs, taxes, or demand differences. Example, the same soft drink bottle costs more in a hill station than in a city due to transportation costs. Price discounts and allowances. Offering price reductions to attract customers, clear stock, or reward loyal buyers. Example, seasonal sales, festival discounts, student discounts, and bulk purchase offers. 6. Product mix pricing. Adjusting prices for different products within a company's product range to maximize profits. Example, a printer is sold at a lower price, but ink cartridges are expensive to increase overall earnings. 7. Promotional pricing. Temporary price reductions to boost sales, attract new customers, or clear stock. Example, buy one get one free or limited time offer deals in stores. 8. Price leadership. A leading company sets the price in the market and competitors follow. Common in industries where one company dominates. Example, if Tata Steel increases its prices, other steel manufacturers also increase prices. Trick to remember one word. PSGPPPPL, penetration, skimming, geographic, product life cycle, product mix, promotional, price leadership. Now, whenever you see PSGPPPL, you'll recall all pricing strategies. Product life cycle pricing, simplified explanation. Every product has a life cycle, just like a human being. It is born, introduced, grows, matures, and eventually declines. At each stage, businesses adjust pricing to match market conditions. 1. Introduction stage, new launch. Sales are zero or very low because customers don't know about the product. Profits are negative due to high costs of advertising and distribution. Pricing strategies. Skimming pricing. High price at launch to recover costs. Penetration pricing. Low price to attract customers quickly. Example, a new iPhone is launched at a high price. Jio SIM was free initially. 2. Growth stage. Increasing sales. Demand increases as customers start buying the product. More stores and distributors agree to sell the product. Prices soften, reduce slightly, due to competition. Pricing strategy. Price leadership. Leading firm sets price, others follow. Example, Xiaomi smartphones became cheaper after gaining popularity. Maturity stage. Stable market. Customer growth stops. Almost everyone knows about the product. More competitors enter the market, reducing price flexibility. Prices remain stable. Companies focus on cost efficiency. Pricing strategy, neutral pricing, avoid price wars. Example, Coca-Cola and Pepsi keep stable prices despite competition. 4. Decline stage, fading demand. Sales drop as customers lose interest or better products come. Companies cut prices to clear stock or reposition the product. Pricing strategy, product line pricing, adjust prices within a product range. Old iPhone models get price cuts when a new version is launched. Trick to remember, IGMD, introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Now, whenever you see IGMD, you'll recall all 4 stages of the product life cycle. Skimming pricing, simplified explanation. What is skimming pricing? Skimming pricing is a strategy where a company sets a high initial price for a new product and then gradually lowers it over time. Why? Some customers are willing to pay more because they believe high price equals high quality. It increases their prestige in society. They want to be trendsetters, opinion leaders. When is skimming pricing used? 1. Customers associate high price with quality. If people think expensive means better, skimming works well. Example, Apple iPhones are priced high because people believe they are premium products. Customers want status and exclusivity. Some people buy costly products to show off. Example, luxury brands like Gucci, Rolex, or Tesla use skimming pricing. 3. No competition in the market. If a company is the only seller of a product, it can charge high prices. Example, when Netflix first launched, there were no competitors like Amazon Prime. 4. New advanced technology. Tech products are first sold at a high price and then reduce over time. Example, OLED TVs were super expensive when introduced, but became cheaper later. High initial promotion and development costs. If a company spends a lot on ads and R&D, it recovers costs by pricing high first. Example, new medicines or electric cars have high initial pricing. Advantages of skimming pricing. Less impact from demand changes. Customers still buy even if price is high. Targets high-paying customers first. Companies maximize profits early. Gradual price reductions attract different segments. More buyers enter over time. Avoids unknown risks. Companies can start high and lower price if needed. Recovers high initial investment. Helps companies cover R&D, marketing, and distribution costs. Trick to remember. VI Tech. Value, image, prestige, technology, entry barriers, cost recovery, high profits. Now, whenever you see VIP Tech, you'll recall skimming pricing strategy. What is penetration pricing? Penetration pricing is a strategy where a company sets a low price for a new product to quickly gain market share. The focus is on growth, not immediate profits. Why? The goal is to attract a large number of customers, enter competitive markets, make competitors struggle to keep up. When is penetration pricing used? 1. High price elasticity of demand. If price goes down, demand increases significantly. Example, budget airlines like AirAsia or Ryanair offer very cheap tickets to attract more travelers. 2. Large-scale production reduces costs. When more units are sold, the cost per unit decreases. Example, Jio in India started with free mobile data to attract users, later monetizing after gaining market dominance. Product fits easily into customer spending. If customers don't find the price too different from their usual spending habits. Example, streaming services like Disney Plus launched at lower rates to attract subscribers. 4. Strong competition or threat of new competitors. A company may lower prices early to block new competitors from entering the market. Example, Xiaomi sells smartphones at low prices to prevent new brands from capturing market share. Advantages of penetration pricing. Fast market entry. Helps gain customers quickly. Surprise competitors. Established companies won't have time to react. Positive brand image. Customers like affordable pricing and spread good word of mouth. Forces efficiency. Low prices push companies to reduce costs and operate efficiently. Prevents new competitors. Other businesses hesitate to enter a price-sensitive market. Increases product sales quickly. Stock turnover is high, leading to better supply chain efficiency. Hat trick to remember, one word. Fast P. Fast growth, adoption, stock turnover prevent competitors. Whenever you see Fast P, you'll recall penetration pricing strategy. Price discounts and allowances, simplified explanation. What is price discounting? Price discounting means reducing the price of a product to attract customers and stay competitive. However, businesses must plan discounts carefully or they may reduce profits instead of increasing sales. Why use discounts? Beat competitors, attract more customers, increase sales quickly. But risk? If not planned properly, discounts can reduce company profits and create financial issues. Types of discounts. 1. Cash and settlement discounts. Customers get a discount for paying early. Helps businesses get cash faster instead of waiting for payments. Example, pay within 10 days and get 2% off. 2. Quantity discounts. Bulk buyers get discounts for purchasing large quantities. Helps companies sell more products quickly. Example, a wholesaler buys 1,000 units and gets a special discount. 3. Promotional discounts, used to clear old stock before launching a new product, often offered as deals and offers instead of price cuts. Examples, buy 2, get 1 free. 5 items for the price of 4. Trick to remember, one word, CQP, cash, quantity, promotion. Whenever you see CQP, you'll recall the 3 main types of price discounts. Pricing strategy. What is geographic pricing? Geographic pricing means setting different prices in different locations based on customer demand and competition. Why use this strategy? Prices may be lower in one market to attract customers. Prices may be higher in another market to earn more profit. Different pricing strategies, premium, penetration, discount, are used in different regions. Challenge: payment issues. Some customers may not have enough cash or access to the required currency. Forms of counter-trade, alternative payment methods. 1. Barter, exchange goods for goods, no money involved. Example, a farmer gives wheat in exchange for cotton. 2. Compensation deal, partial payment in cash, rest in goods. Example, a company sells airplanes to Brazil, 70% cash, 30% coffee. 3. Buyback arrangement. Seller supplies equipment and gets paid with products made from that equipment. Example, a company sells machinery to a factory and gets paid with goods produced by that machine. 4. Offset. Full payment in cash, but the seller invests back in the buyer's country. Example, PepsiCo sells cola to Russia and agrees to buy Russian vodka in return. Trick to remember: BCBO, barter, compensation, buyback, offset. Whenever you see BCBO, recall the 4 types of counter-trade. Promotional pricing, simplified explanation. Promotional pricing means offering temporary price benefits to attract customers and increase sales. Companies use different strategies to make customers buy quickly. Types of promotional pricing strategies. 1. Special event pricing. Discounts during festivals, holidays, or special occasions to boost sales. Example, Diwali sale, Black Friday sale. 2. Cash rebate. Customers get cash refunds after purchasing. Example, a car company offers $10,000 cash back for buying a car before March 31. 3. Low-interest financing. Instead of reducing prices, companies offer 0 or low-interest loans. Example, automakers give 0% EME schemes to encourage purchases. 4. Longer payment terms. Customers can pay in small monthly installments instead of a one-time full payment. Example, car loans or home loans with longer tenures, 5 to 10 years. 5. Warranties and service contracts. Giving free, low-cost warranties and service increases trust. Example, a mobile brand offers a 2-year free service plan. 6. Psychological discounting. Artificially increasing prices and then offering huge discounts to attract customers. Example, a shirt priced at $3,000 is shown as $6,000 with 50% off, making it seem like a great deal. A trick to remember, one word, SCLWP, special event, cash rebate, low interest, warranty, payment terms, psychological. Whenever you see SCLWPP, recall the 6 promotional pricing strategies. Product mix pricing, simplified explanation. When a company sells multiple products, it needs a smart pricing strategy to maximize profits. Different products have different costs, demand, and competition, so companies adjust their prices accordingly. Types of product mix pricing. 1. Product line pricing. Prices are set based on product quality levels within a product line. Example, a clothing store sells dresses at 400s, 1,000, and 2,500 to indicate low, medium, and high quality. 2. Optional feature pricing. Customers pay extra for additional features. Example, car buyers can add sunroof, leather seats, or an extended warranty at extra cost. 3. Captive product pricing. The main product is cheap, but necessary add-ons have high prices. Example, printers are cheap, but ink cartridges are expensive. 4. Two-part pricing. A fixed charge plus variable charge based on usage. Example, amusement parks charge an entry fee extra for additional rides. 5. Byproduct pricing, selling leftover or waste materials from production. Example, petroleum companies sell byproducts like tar and chemicals for extra revenue. 6. Product bundling pricing, selling products in a bundle at a discount compared to buying individually. Example, a Netflix yearly subscription costs less than paying monthly. Trick to remember, one word, PBP, product line, optional, captive, two-part, byproduct, product bundling. Whenever you see POBP, recall the 6 product mix pricing strategies. Price leadership. Simplified explanation. Price leadership happens when one dominant company in an industry sets price leadership. Simplified explanation. Price leadership happens when one dominant company in an industry sets the price, and all other companies follow it. This firm is called the price leader. If others follow the price leader, they can stay in business. If they reduce prices to compete, they might gain market share but risk losses if they can't afford to lower prices. Big firms can sustain lower prices, but small firms may go out of business trying to match them. Advantages of price leadership. 1. Interdependence of behavior. Firms follow the price leader to avoid uncertainty in pricing decisions. Example, if Coca-Cola sets the price, other soft drink brands will follow to avoid confusion. 2. Absence of price war. Since everyone follows one price, companies don't keep lowering prices to compete. Example, if Apple sets a price for iPhones, Samsung and others match the price instead of undercutting it. 3. Product differentiation. Companies compete on features, not just price, leading to better products. Example, instead of reducing prices, car brands like BMW focus on better technology and design to attract buyers. Trick to remember, one word. IAP, interdependence, absence of price war, product differentiation. Whenever you see IAP, recall the 3 advantages of price leadership. Factor pricing. What is factor pricing? Factor pricing is about deciding the payment for the 4 factors of production: land rent, labor, wages, capital, interest, enterprise, profit. It is also called the theory of distribution because it explains how the income from production is divided among these 4 factors. How is factor pricing decided? Factor prices are determined by demand and supply in a free market without government control. Example, if companies need more workers, they will increase wages to attract more workers. 3. Difference between factor pricing and commodity pricing. Commodity pricing decides the price of goods like phones, cars, clothes. Factor pricing decides the income of people, rent, wages, interest, profit. Both are connected. When workers earn higher wages, they can buy more goods, increasing demand for products. 4. Formula for factor pricing. Total wage income equals wage rates, number of workers employed. Example, if a company pays $500 per worker and hires 1,000 workers, total wage income equals 500 times 1,000 equals, to remember, one word. RWIPE, rent, wages, interest, profit for land, labor, capital, enterprise. Whenever you see RWIP, recall the 4 factors of production and their payments. Need for a separate theory of factor pricing. Simplified explanation. Why is a separate theory needed? Factor pricing and commodity pricing are different because factor pricing decides payments for land, labor, capital, and enterprise, rent, wages, interest, profit. Commodity pricing decides the price of finished goods, cars, phones, clothes. The demand and supply conditions for factors and commodities are not the same, so they need separate study. 2. Key differences between factor and commodity pricing. Differences in demand. 1. Derived demand. Factors are demanded because they help in producing goods. Example, the demand for bricks, cement, and labor comes from the demand for buildings. 2. Joint demand. multiple factors work together to produce one product. Example, to produce wheat, you need land, labor, capital, and an entrepreneur. If any one factor is missing, production suffers. 3. Dependability. Demand for factors depends on marginal productivity, how much extra output they add. Demand for goods depends on marginal utility, how much satisfaction they give to consumers. B. Differences in supply. 1. Cost of production. Supply of goods depends on production cost. Supply of factors depends on opportunity cost, what is sacrificed. Example, land has no production cost, but its supply is limited. Labor supply depends on wages and working conditions. 2. Relation between price and supply. For commodities, higher price equals more supply, upward sloping curve. For labor, if wages increase too much, people may work less. Backward bending supply curve, 3 trick to remember, one word. DJSR, demand, derive joint dependability, supply, cost relation. This will help recall why factor pricing and commodity pricing are studied separately. Concept of productivity of a factor, simplified explanation. 1. What is productivity in economics? Productivity measures how efficiently inputs, like labor, land, capital, are used to produce output. It tells us how much output is produced per unit of input in a given time. Example, if 200 workers produce 4,000 meters of fabric per day, their productivity is 4,200 equals 20 meters per worker. Types of productivity. A. Physical productivity, measured in quantity like meters, kilograms, liters. 1. Total physical productivity, TPP, total quantity of output produced using all factors of production. Example, 22 workers produce 800 meters of fabric. 2. Average physical productivity, APP, output per unit of input. Formula APP equals frac TPPN. Example, if 10 workers produce 200 meters of fabric, if frac 210 equals 20 meters per worker. 3. Marginal physical productivity, MPP, extra output produced by adding one more unit of input. Formula MP equals TPPN minus TPPN minus 1. Example, if adding one more worker increases total fabric production from 400 to 460 meters, then MPP equals 460 minus 400 equals 60. NASHB revenue productivity, measured in money terms. 1. Total revenue productivity, total money earned from all output produced. Formula TRP equals TPP times P. If 20 workers produce 400 meters of fabric, and the price is the 100 per meter, TRP equals 400 times 100 equals 40,000. 2. Average revenue productivity, ARP, revenue earned per unit of input. Formula ARP equals frac TRPN. Example, if 40,000 is earned from 20 workers, ARP equals frac 40,020 equals 2,000, text per worker. 3. Marginal revenue productivity, MRP, extra revenue earned by adding one more unit of input. Formula MRP equals TRPN minus TN minus 1. Example, if hiring one more worker increases revenue from 40,000 to 45,000. MRP equals 45,000 minus 40,000 equals 5,000. 4. Value of marginal productivity, VMP. MRP when multiplied by the price of the product. Formula, VMP equal MPP times AR. In perfect competition, VMP equals MRP. In imperfect competition, VMP MRP because AR MR. Example, if a worker's MPP is 10 meters and AR price per meter is 50, VMP 10 times 50 equals 500. SHA-3 trick to remember one word, TAMT RAM V, TPP, AP, MPP, TRP, RP, MRP, VMP. This will help recall the types of productivity in exams. Theories of factor pricing, simplified explanation. Factor pricing means deciding how much to pay for the factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. 2 main theories explain this. 1. Marginal productivity theory of distribution. This theory states that factors of production are paid based on their contribution to output. The more productive a factor is, the higher the payment it receives. Example, if adding one more worker increases output by 10 units, the worker's wage should equal the value of those 10 units. Key idea: each factor is paid according to its marginal productivity. 2. Modern theory of distribution. This theory improves upon the marginal productivity theory by considering real-world situations like imperfect competition, companies have pricing power, government intervention, minimum wages, subsidies, supply and demand fluctuations. Example: a highly skilled worker may get higher wages even if is the same as an average worker due to demand for their skills. 3. Trick to remember one word: MPMD, marginal productivity and modern distribution. Marginal productivity theory, simplified explanation. This theory explains how businesses decide how much to pay for different factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. It is based on how much extra output, marginal product, each factor adds. 1. Key idea: businesses will pay more for factors that increase production significantly. The demand for these factors is called derived demand because it depends on the demand for the final product. Example: a company needs 10 workers to make 1,000 shirts per day. If hiring one extra worker increases production to 150 shirts, then the worker's marginal productivity is 50 shirts. The company will be willing to pay a wage that matches the value of those 50 extra shirts. 2. Definitions. Liebowski's definition. Under perfect competition, factors of production are paid exactly equal to their marginal productivity. Mark Blogg's definition. In equilibrium, every factor gets rewarded based on how much extra output it contributes. 3. Trick to remember, one word: MPDP, marginal productivity and derived demand pricing. Assumptions of marginal productivity theory, simplified explanation. This theory is based on some assumptions, conditions that must exist for the theory to work. Assumptions. Factor identical. All units of labor, land, capital are of the same quality. Example: every worker in a factory has equal skills and can do the same job. Factors can be substituted. One factor can replace another. Example: a company can hire more workers instead of buying machines, or use more machines instead of workers. Perfect mobility of factors. Factors can easily move from one use to another. Example: a worker can shift from one factory to another without difficulty. Law of diminishing returns applies. If we keep adding more workers or machines, the extra output will eventually decrease. Example: a factory has limited space. After a certain number of workers, adding more will reduce efficiency. Perfect competition. There is full employment, and wages are determined by demand and supply. Example: no single company can control wages, as many firms are competing for workers. 2. Trick to remember, one word: SIMP-C, substituted, identical, mobility, perfect competition, diminishing returns. Explanation of marginal productivity theory. This theory explains how wages or rewards are determined for workers and other production factors. It is studied from 2 perspectives. 1. Industry point of view. Industry level. The theory states that industries decide wages based on how much extra output a worker or factor can produce. Example: in the textile industry, if hiring one extra worker increases fabric production by 10 meters, then the industry will pay a wage based on the value of that extra fabric. Firm point of view. Firm level. Each firm hires workers or buys resources based on their marginal productivity, extra output they generate. Example: a car company will hire a mechanic only if the value of the extra cars he helps produce is greater than his wage. Trick to remember: if, industry, and firm. Marginal productivity theory, industry point of view. This theory explains how factor prices, wages, rent, etc., are decided in an industry based on demand and supply. 1. How industry determines factor price. Perfect competition assumption. Many firms exist, and the prices are decided by market forces. Price is set where demand is supply. This is called the equilibrium point, E. Firms hire factors based on marginal revenue productivity, MRP. More productive factors get higher wages. Example: imagine a mobile phone industry. If hiring one extra worker helps produce 10 more phones, the industry will pay wages based on the extra profit from those phones. Two industries demand for a factor. Many firms together create total demand. Each firm hires based on MRP. Law of diminishing returns applies. If too many workers are hired, productivity reduces and wages fall. MRP equals MFC, marginal factor cost. Firms hire workers until the cost of hiring is equal to the extra revenue generated. Example: a textile industry hires tailors. If too many tailors work on a single machine, output per tailor reduces. Wages decrease. #3, factor price determination. Demand curve equals industry's total demand for a factor. Supply curve, total availability of the factor in the market. Equilibrium point, E, decides factor price. Example: if demand for skilled software engineers increases but supply remains the same, salaries rise. 4, trick to remember, one word, DICE, demand, industry, competition, equilibrium. Marginal productivity theory, firm's point of view. This theory explains how a firm decides how many workers or machine factors to hire based on costs and productivity. 1. How a firm decides the number of workers. Perfect competition assumption. The firm takes market prices as given. Hire workers until MRP equals MFC. MRP, marginal revenue productivity, extra revenue from one more worker. MFC, marginal factor cost, cost of hiring one more worker. If MRP MFC, hire more. If MRP MFC, reduce hiring. If MRP equals MFC, equilibrium, profit maximization. Example: a shoe factory hires workers. First worker produces 5 shoes, earns 20, hired. Second worker produces 4 shoes, earns 16, hired. Third worker produces 3 shoes, earns 12, hired. Fourth worker produces 2 shoes, earns 8, hired. Equilibrium point. Fifth worker produces 1 shoe, earns 4, loss. So the firm stops at 4 workers because hiring the 5th would be a loss. 2 factors affecting hiring. Law of diminishing returns. More workers, productivity falls over time. Factor price, wages. If wages rise, firms hire fewer workers. Product price. If shoes sell for 8 instead of 4, the firm hires more workers. Example: if a software company pays 1 lakh per developer, but their coding output generates only 80,000 in revenue, the company hires fewer developers. #3, profit maximization rules. Single factor, labor only, MRP labor equals MFC wage. Multiple factors, labor plus capital. MRP labor wage equals MRP capitals. Cost of capital. Least cost rule. Firms balance labor and capital to minimize costs. Example: a construction firm uses machines and workers. If machines are cheaper and more efficient than workers, they hire fewer workers and buy more machines. 4, trick to remember, one word, higher. Higher in revenue, equilibrium. Criticism of marginal productivity theory. Many economists have criticized this theory because it makes unrealistic assumptions. Here are the main criticisms. 1. Unrealistic assumptions. The theory assumes all workers, land, and capital are the same, homogeneous. In reality, every worker has different skills, land has different fertility, and capital varies. Example: a highly skilled engineer and a new graduate cannot be considered the same. 2 factors are not perfect substitutes. The theory assumes labor and capital can replace each other easily. In reality, machines cannot always replace workers, and vice versa. Example: a robot may replace a factory worker, but a doctor cannot be replaced by a machine. Law of diminishing returns is not always true. The theory assumes adding more factors always decreases productivity, but some firms increase production without facing this problem. Example: a tech company can keep hiring programmers without seeing a drop in productivity. 4. Wage cuts do not always increase jobs. Keynes argued that reducing wages to create more jobs does not work in all cases. If workers earn less, they spend less, reducing overall demand. Example: if salaries of all employees in a city are reduced, people buy less, businesses suffer, and jobs are lost. 5. Difficult to measure marginal productivity. It is hard to separate how much each factor, labor, land, capital, contributes to production. All factors work together, so measuring individual impact is tricky. Example: a company's success comes from both workers and machines. We cannot say exactly how much profit comes from each. Trick to remember. One word: fault. Factors, assumptions, unrealistic, labor, tossing. Modern theory of distribution. The modern theory of distribution is also called demand and supply theory of distribution. It explains how the prices of factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, are determined. It is better than the marginal productivity theory because it considers both demand and supply. Key idea: just like product prices are decided by demand and supply, the prices of factors, wages, rent, interest, profit, are also set by demand and supply. However, different factors have different prices because demand and supply conditions vary for each factor. Example: labor. More demand for IT professionals, higher salaries. Land. Land in cities is more expensive than in villages because of high demand. Trick to remember. One word: decide. Demand, supply, influence, distribution, equilibrium. Demand for factors of production. 1. Factors affecting demand for a factor. Derived demand. Factors, land, labor, capital, enterprise, are demanded because they help produce the final product. If product demand rises, factor demand also rises. Productivity of factor. More marginal revenue productivity, MRP, equals higher demand for the factor. Factor price. Higher price equals lower demand and vice versa. Inverse relation. Price of related factors. If substitute factor prices rise, demand for the given factor also increases. Factors affecting elasticity of demand for a factor. Elasticity of final product. More elastic product demand, more elastic factor demand. Factor requirement. If a factor is required in large quantity, its demand is highly elastic. Substitutability. More substitutes, more elastic demand for a factor. Example: if people want more cars, the demand for steel factor increases. If wages of machine operators rise too much, companies may switch to automated machines, substitute factor. Trick to remember. One word: DPPS. Derived demand, productivity, price, substitutability. Supply of factors of production. 1. What is supply of a factor? It means the amount of land, labor, capital, or entrepreneurship available for use at different prices in a given time period. Land, supplied by landowners. Labor, supplied by workers. Capital, supplied by investors. Enterprise, supplied by entrepreneurs. Example: a farmer may rent out more land if rent prices increase. 2. Role of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost equals income lost from the next best alternative. Factors are supplied only if they earn more than their opportunity cost. Example: Mr. Singh earns 40,000 month XYZ Limited. If another company offers 50,000, he may leave his current job. His opportunity cost equals 40,000. 3. Relation between price and supply. Higher price equals more supply. People provide more labor, land, or capital. Lower price, less supply. People withdraw resources. Supply curve upward sloping, left to right. 4. Factors affecting elasticity of supply. Quantity and quality of factors. More skilled labor, more supply. Time period. Short term, less supply. Long term, more supply. Factor price trends. If factor prices are stable, supply is predictable. Our trick to remember: quantity, time, price. Determination of factor pricing. 1. How is factor price determined? Factor price, like wages, rent, or interest, is set by demand and supply in a competitive market. Demand for factors, created by firms, businesses. Supply of factors, provided by factor owners, workers, landlords, investors. Example, a company needs workers, demand for labor. Workers are available, supply of labor. The wage rate is set where demand equals supply. 2. Equilibrium price of a factor. Equilibrium price, point where demand and supply intersect. If price increases, supply but demand, excess supply. If price decreases, demand but supply, excess demand. Example, if wages rise too high, companies hire fewer workers, excess supply. If wages drop too low, workers refuse jobs, excess demand. Hackster 3. 2 limits of factor price. Maximum limit, marginal productivity, how much extra value the factor adds. Minimum limit, opportunity cost, the lowest price the owner is willing to accept. Example, a worker's marginal productivity equals $50,000 per month. Their opportunity cost, another job, equals $40,000 a month. Their wage will settle between $40,000 to $50,000. Hack 4. Understanding the graph, figure 5.3, x-axis, quantity supplied, y-axis, wages or factor price. SS curve, supply curve, upward sloping. DD curve, demand curve, downward sloping. Point E, equilibrium price, where supply's demand. Trick to remember, one word, DEM, demand, equilibrium, marginal productivity. Factor pricing versus product pricing. Both factor pricing and product pricing are based on demand and supply. However, they differ in who is buying and selling and how prices are set. 1. What is factor pricing? Factor pricing is the price paid for resources: land, labor, capital, enterprise. Example, wages for labor, rent for land, interest for capital. What is product pricing? Product pricing is the price set for goods or services in the market. Example, price of a car, mobile, or food item. 3 key differences between factor and product pricing: basis, factor pricing, product pricing. Who sells? Households, workers, landowners, investors. Firms, companies, businesses. Who buys? Firms, companies, consumers, objective of buyer. Earn maximum profit, get maximum satisfaction, utility. Objective of seller, get the best price for resources, maximize profits. Demand depends on type of product being produced, customers' need and satisfaction. Supply depends on, cannot be based on marginal cost, based on marginal cost of production. Joint demand, factors are used together, land plus labor's capital. Products are usually bought separately. Type of demand, derived demand, depends on demand for product. Direct demand depends on consumer preference. Example for better understanding. Factor market. A factory hires workers, pays wages, factor pricing. Product market. The factory sells mobile phones to customers, product pricing. Trick to remember, one word, Ford, factor pricing, objective, role of buyer-seller, demand. Interest in economics. 1. What is interest? Interest is the extra amount paid by a borrower to a lender on top of the principal loan. It is usually expressed as a percentage, called the interest rate. Example, if you take a loan of $10,000 at 10% interest, you have to pay $1 to $1,000 extra along with the principal. Definitions of interest. McConnell, interest is the payment for the use of money or loanable funds. Keynes, interest is a payment in money and for money. Marshall, interest is the price paid for the use of capital. Functions of interest. 1. Encourages savings. Higher interest rates motivate people to save more money. 2. Provides capital for production. Banks lend money to businesses, helping them grow and invest. 3. Distributes savings in economy. Interest helps in allocating funds across different industries. 4. Regulates funds. It ensures efficient use of money in the market. Trick to remember, one word, SPDR, savings, P reduction, distribution, regulation. Components of interest. Interest has 2 main parts. 1. Net interest. The basic payment a borrower makes to the lender only for using capital. It does not include extra payments like risk, management, or inconvenience. Example: if you borrow $10,000 and just pay $1,000 for using it, that $1,000 is net interest. Chapman's definition: net interest is the payment for a loan when there is no risk, no inconvenience, and no extra work for the lender. Gross interest: the total amount the lender receives, including extra payments. It consists of net interest, basic loan payment; reward for risk, in case the borrower fails to repay; reward for management, effort in managing the loan; reward for inconvenience, money locked in a loan cannot be used elsewhere. Example: if a lender charges $1,000 net interest plus $500 risk plus $300 management to over $200 inconvenience, then gross interest equals $2,000 int. Chapman's definition: gross interest includes payment for capital, risk, inconvenience, and management efforts. Trick to remember, one word. GRIM, G gross interest, plus inconvenience and management. Interest is the extra money a borrower pays to a lender for using money. Many economists have tried to explain why interest exists. Here are the four main theories. 1. Classical theory of interest says interest is determined by savings, supply of money, and investment, demand for money. When savings increase, the supply of money goes up, and interest rates fall. When businesses invest more, the demand for money rises, increasing interest rates. Example: if many people deposit money in banks, interest rates go down because banks have more money to lend. 2. Keynes' liquidity preference theory says people prefer liquidity, keeping cash, instead of lending money. Interest is a reward for giving up liquidity and lending money. Higher interest rates, people lend more. Lower interest rates, people hold cash. Example: if banks offer low interest, you may keep cash instead of saving. But if they offer high interest, you will deposit money to earn more. 3. Neoclassical theory of interest, a mix of classical theory and Keynes theory, says interest is decided by savings, investments, and liquidity preference. Example: if businesses invest more and people prefer to save, interest rates balance based on both forces. 4. Modern theory of interest says interest depends on total money supply and money demand in an economy, focuses on how central banks, like RBI, control interest rates by adjusting money supply. Example: if RBI prints more money, interest rates go down because money is easily available. Trick to remember, one word. Classical, liquidity preference, investment; neoclassical, modern. Classical theory of interest. The classical theory of interest explains how interest rates are determined in an economy. It was initially discussed by early economists and later refined by Keynes. Key idea: interest rate is determined by the balance of savings, supply of money, and investment, demand for money. Savings equals money people set aside. Investment equals money businesses borrow to grow. When savings increase, more money is available, and interest rates fall. When businesses demand more loans, interest rates rise due to high demand. Example: if people save a lot in banks, the bank has more money to lend, interest rates drop. If businesses borrow more for expansion, demand for money increases, interest rates rise. Key definitions. Marshall: interest is the price paid for using capital, determined by demand and supply of capital. Taussig: interest is set where the extra marginal return from capital equals the extra savings added to the economy. Trick to remember, one word. Sear-Avings, investment, rate of interest. Interest rate determination, classical theory. The classical theory explains that the interest rate is decided by savings, supply of money, and investment, demand for money. Key idea: interest rate equals where savings and investment balance. Savings, money people save in banks, supply. Investment, money businesses borrow for growth, demand. When more savings, banks have extra money, interest rates fall. When more investment, businesses demand more loans, interest rates rise. Example, if people save a lot in banks, more money available, interest rates drop. If businesses borrow more for expansion, high demand for money, interest rates rise. Graph explanation, figure 5.34. The graph shows two curves. Investment curve, I, shows demand for money, negative slope. Savings curve, S, shows supply of money, positive slope. Point E, the equilibrium where both meet, determines the interest rate. If investment demand increases, e.g., new technology like a water-powered car, interest rate rises. Keynes, interest rate is the price of money determined where savings supply equals investment demand. Concept, just like a product's price is set where demand equals supply, the interest rate is set where investment demand is savings supply. Trick to remember. One word, SIT, investment, theory. Criticisms of classical theory of interest. The classical theory of interest has several flaws, which were pointed out mainly by Keynes. Key criticisms. 1. Ignores income-saving relationship. The theory says saving depends only on interest rates, but in reality, income is the main factor that decides how much people save. Example, a person earning $50,000 will save more than someone earning $10,000 no matter the interest rate. 2. Reduction in consumption hurts investment. It assumes that higher savings equals higher investment, but if people save too much and stop spending, businesses earn less profit. They invest less. Example, if everyone stops buying smartphones to save money, companies like Apple and Samsung won't invest in new models. 3. Wrong assumption of full employment. The theory assumes that everyone has a job and income doesn't change. In reality, income levels change and unemployment exists, affecting savings and investment. 4. Doesn't consider investment changes. The theory says investment demand can change without affecting savings. But in reality, if businesses invest less, fewer jobs are created, incomes drop, and savings also reduce. Trick to remember, one word, REIS, our relationship, income investment change since consumption reduction, income, full employment. Demand for loanable funds. What is demand for loanable funds? Loanable funds are borrowed money used for consumption or investment. Two main sources of demand. Households borrow for personal expenses, small portion. Businesses, entrepreneurs, borrow for investment in business, major portion. Why do entrepreneurs borrow? They consider two key factors. 1. Expected profit from investment. Marginal efficiency of capital, MEC. Interest rate to be paid on loan. Borrowing continues as long as profit, interest rate. Stops when profit equals interest rate. Example, a company borrows 1 lakh at 10% interest. If they expect to earn 15% profit, they will borrow more. If the profit falls to 9%, they will stop borrowing. Key concept, marginal efficiency of capital. MEC equals extra profit from using 1 more unit of capital. Due to the law of diminishing returns, MEC falls over time. When MEC equals interest rate, no more funds are borrowed. Tashem trick to households, I investment, MEC. Loanable fund theory of interest. Meaning, proposed by Wixell and later developed by Olin, Robertson, Pigou, and Myrtle, also called neoclassical theory of interest. Interest rate is decided by demand and supply of loanable funds, money available for borrowing, in the credit market. Key idea. Businesses and individuals borrow money, demand, and people lenders save money, supply. The point where demand equals supply determines interest rate. Example, if many people want loans to buy houses, high demand, but few people are saving, the interest rate will increase. If more people save money and banks have lots of funds to lend, interest rates will decrease. Trick to remember, one word, DSL. Demand, S supply, loan. Supply of loanable funds. What is supply of loanable funds? The money available for lending in the market comes from savings, banks, and investments. Sources of loanable funds. 1. Individual savings. People save money in banks. Business savings. Companies keep extra profits for future use. 3. Bank credit. Banks give loans using customer deposits. 4. Idle cash balances. Money that was not used earlier is now available. 5. Disinvestment. Selling assets like land shares to get cash. How interest rate affects supply. Higher interest rate, more people save, more loanable funds. Lower interest rate, less savings, less funds available. Example, if a bank offers 5% interest, people may not save much. If it offers 10% interest, people will save more to earn extra money. Exception, even at 0% interest, some people still save money, but this amount is not enough to meet the market demand. Trick to remember, one word, bids, bank, individuals, disinvestment, savings. Criticisms of loanable fund theory of interest. Why is this theory criticized? 1. Unrealistic assumption. The theory assumes that national income remains constant, but in reality, income changes affects investment levels. 2. Wrong integration of factors. It mixes monetary and real factors, but they should be studied separately because they work differently in real life. 3. Full employment assumption. It assumes everyone has a job, full employment, but in reality, some unemployment always exists. 4. Interest elasticity issue. The theory says interest rate affects savings and investment, but other factors like business conditions, government policies, and future expectations also matter. Example, if income falls, people save less, even if interest rates are high. Businesses invest based on profits and future expectations, not just interest rates. Trick to remember, one word. Firm, full employment issue. Integration mistake. Realistic assumption missing, money and investment link problem. Interest rate determination. What is interest rate determination? The interest rate is decided based on the balance between demand and supply of loanable funds. How it works. 1. Equilibrium rate, 6%. At 6% interest, demand equals supply, so the market is stable. 2. If interest rate is more than 6%, more people want to lend, supply. Fewer people want to borrow, demand. Lenders compete, interest rate falls back to 6%. 3. If interest rate is less than 6%, more people want to borrow, demand. Fewer people want to lend, supply. Borrowers compete, interest rate rises back to 6%. Example, imagine banks offer loans at 8% interest, fewer people take loans, but many deposit money. If the rate drops to 4%, more people take loans, but fewer deposit money. So the rate adjusts to 6% naturally. Trick to remember. Bed balance, equilibrium, demand. Keynesian liquidity preference theory of interest. What is liquidity? Liquidity means how easily an asset can be converted into cash without losing value. Example, cash is highly liquid, can be used anytime, while gold and land are less liquid, hard to sell quickly. Keynes' main idea. People prefer holding money over other assets because it is liquid. Interest is the cost of giving up liquidity. Higher liquidity preference, higher interest rate. People demand more to part with their cash. Definition by Keynes. Interest is the reward for parting with liquidity for a specified period. Why do people demand money? 3 motives. 1. Transaction motive. Need money for daily expenses. 2. Precautionary motive. Keep money for emergencies. 3. Speculative motive. hold money to invest when opportunities arise. Example, if you lend $1,000 for 6 months, you expect extra money in return. If you don't earn anything extra, why give up cash? So interest is the reward for sacrificing liquidity. Trick to remember, one word, TPS, T-transaction, precautionary, speculative motives. Demand for money, Keynes theory. Why do people hold money? 3 motives. 1. Transaction motive, need cash for daily expenses. Example, buying groceries, paying bills, transport, etc. 2. Precautionary motive, keep money for unexpected emergencies. Example, medical bills, car repairs, sudden job loss. Formula, LT equals to FYR. Money demand depends on income Y and interest rate R. 3. Speculative motive, hold money to invest at the right time. Example, waiting for stock prices to drop before buying. Formula VUL R, V equals current value of investment, R equals annual return, equals interest rate. Trick to remember, one word. TPS, T transaction, P precautionary, S speculative. Supply of money. What is money supply? The total amount of money available in the economy. It includes cash, coins and currency notes, and bank deposits, money in accounts that can be withdrawn anytime. Who controls it? The central bank of a country, e.g. RBI in India. Components of money supply. 1. Coins and currency notes. Physical cash issued by the central bank. Example, 10 note, 5 coin. 2. Bank deposits. Money kept in banks that can be withdrawn anytime. Example, savings account, current account balance. Trick to remember, C. Coins and currency, B. Bank deposits. Determination of the rate of interest, Keynesian theory. What is interest rate? The price paid for borrowing money or the reward for saving money. Keynes theory. Interest rate is determined where demand for money equals supply of money. Formula, M equals SM time minus M pen time equals total demand for money equals supply of money. Explanation. Using a graph. 1. X-axis, demand and supply of money. 2. Y-axis, interest rate, SM curve, shows supply of money fixed by central bank. LPC curve shows liquidity preference, people's desire to hold money. Equilibrium, point OR, where both curves meet equals interest rate is set. What happens if interest rate changes? If interest rate increases, more money supply than demand, interest rate falls. If interest rate decreases, more demand than supply, interest rate rises. Trick to remember, DSL, demand, S supply liquidity. Criticisms of liquidity preference theory. What is liquidity preference theory? Keynes's theory says interest rate is determined by demand and supply of money, but this theory has some drawbacks. Major criticisms. 1. Monetary theory only. Focuses only on money and ignores real factors like investment and savings. Misleading. Does not guide whether people should save or not. 3. Inconsistent. Says liquidity preference and interest rate are directly related, but real-world data shows mixed results. 4. Indeterminate. Does not clearly explain how the interest rate is fixed. Trick to remember on what monetary, inconsistent, indeterminate. What is IS curve? The IS curve represents all points where the demand for goods equals the supply of goods. It shows the relationship between income Y and interest rate R in the product market. Key points to remember. 1. If income Y increases, interest rate R falls, downward movement on IS curve. 2. If income Y decreases, interest rate R rises, upward movement on IS curve. 3. IS curve slopes downward, because when interest rates fall, borrowing increases, leading to more investment and higher income. Simple example. If banks reduce interest rates, businesses will borrow more money to invest. More production, higher income Y, moves down the IS curve. If banks increase interest rates, borrowing becomes expensive, less investment, lower income Y, moves up the IS curve. Trick to remember, one word. D, demand equals Einnahme plus rate of interest, IS curve. Modern theory of interest, ISLM model. What is it? The ISLM model explains how interest rates, R, and income, Y, are determined together by the interaction of 1. IS curve, equilibrium in the commodity market, goods and services. 2. LM curve, equilibrium in the money market, money supply and demand. The point where these two curves intersect gives equilibrium interest rate, R, equilibrium income level, Y. Simple example. If interest rates are low, businesses borrow more investment and production, income Y rises. If interest rates are high, borrowing becomes costly, less investment, income Y falls. So both markets affect each other, and their balance determines the final interest rate and income. Trick to remember word, ILI, IS curve, LM curve, interest equilibrium. Derivation of LM curve. What is the LM curve? The LM curve represents all points where money demand equals money supply. It shows the relationship between income Y and interest rate I in the money market. Key points to remember. Stage 1. Demand for money. People hold money for two reasons. 1. More income Y, more money needed. If income increases, people need more money to buy goods and services. 2. Higher interest rate I, less money held. If interest rates increase, people prefer saving instead of holding money. Formula for money demand. L equal KY high, else equals demand for money, Y equals income level, I equals interest rate, K and H equals sensitivity factors. Effective interest rate I. If interest rate increases, people hold less cash, demand for money falls. If interest rate decreases, people hold more cash, demand for money rises. Stage 2. Equilibrium in the money market. Money demands money supply. Money supply M/P is fixed by the central bank. Money demand L depends on income and interest rates. What happens when income increases? 1. More income, Y, more demand for money, demand curve shifts right. 2. Interest rate I rises to maintain equilibrium. 3. New equilibrium is reached at a higher interest rate, E2 instead of E1. LM curve is upward sloping. Higher income Y leads to higher interest rate I. Because people demand more money, so interest rates rise to balance it. Simple example. If RBI prints more money, MP, interest rates fall, more loans, investments rise, income increases Y. If RBI reduces money supply, MP, interest rates rise, borrowing decreases, investments fall, income decreases. Trick to remember, one milk, 1 interest curve. Interest rate determination. What is interest rate determination? The interest rate is determined by the intersection of the IS curve and the LM curve. This point shows equilibrium interest rate, R, equilibrium national income, Y. 1. IS curve represents the goods market, real sector, shows combinations of income, Y, and interest rate, R, where investment equals savings. Higher interest rates, less investment, lower income. Lower interest rates, more investment, higher income. 2. LM curve represents the money market, monetary sector, shows combinations of income, Y, and interest rate, R, where money demand equals money supply. Higher income, more money demand, higher interest rates. Lower income, less money demand, lower interest rates. 3. Where IS and LM curves meet, economy and equilibrium, point E in the graph is where both markets are balanced. At this point, savings equals investment. Money demand equals money supply. No excess supply or demand in any market. If interest rate is too high, money market is in equilibrium, but goods market has excess supply, people invest less. If interest rate is too low, goods market is in equilibrium, but money demand is too high, people hold more cash. Simple example. Imagine an economy. If the central bank lowers interest rates, businesses take more loans. Investment increases, income Y rises. If the central bank raises interest rates, borrowing becomes expensive, investment falls, income Y decreases. Equilibrium ensures that the economy is stable and not overheating or slowing down too much. Trick to remember, one word. ILS, LM's, simultaneous equilibrium. Difference between modern theory and Keynesian theory of interest. 1. What are these theories? Modern theory, ISLM model, developed by Hicks and Hansen, combines monetary, money, and real savings and investment factors to determine interest rates. Keynesian theory, liquidity preference theory, developed by J.M. Keynes, focuses only on money supply and demand to determine interest rates. Key differences. Modern theory ESLM model, Keynesian theory, liquidity preference. Developed by Hicks and Hansen, developed by J.M. Keynes, considers both money and real factors, savings and investment, considers only monetary factors. Definite theory clearly determines interest rates. Indeterminate, interest rate depends on money demand. Explains long-term interest rate determination, explains only short-term interest rates. Policy-based theory helps in economic planning. No policy implications, only theoretical. Simple example. Modern theory. Think of interest rates as determined by both savings investment and money supply demand, just like a bank sets interest rates based on both loan demand and available funds. Keynesian theory. Interest rate depends only on money supply. If people hold more cash, interest rates drop. If they hold less cash, interest rates rise. Trick to remember. Mink, mem oddern equals ISLM, odd only money, Keynes equals only money. Theories of investment decisions. When businesses decide where to invest their money, they follow different theories. Theories of investment decisions. When businesses decide where to invest their money, they follow different theories. Two important theories are: 1. Keynesian theory of investment. 2. Modern portfolio theory. Keynesian theory of investment. What is it? Proposed by J.M. Keynes, this theory focuses on how investment depends on interest rates and expected profits. If businesses expect high profits, they invest more. If interest rates are high, businesses invest less because borrowing becomes expensive. Formula: investment equals F expected profit, interest rate. Example: a company wants to build a factory. If they expect high future sales and low loan interest rates, they will invest now. Modern portfolio theory. What is it? Developed by Harry Markowitz, this theory focuses on minimizing risk while maximizing returns. Instead of putting all money in one investment, investors spread money across different assets, diversification to reduce risk. Key idea: don't put all eggs in one basket. Example: an investor puts 50% money in stocks, 30% in bonds, and 20% in real estate to balance risk and returns. Trick to remember, one word. KIM, Keynesian equals profit interest, I investment, M modern, portfolio. TAC, Keynesian theory of investment. John Maynard Keynes introduced a new way of thinking about investment which was different from traditional views. Key ideas of Keynesian investment theory. 1. Investment drives economic growth. Investment is not just about long-term growth, but also affects short-term economic activity. If businesses invest more, demand in the economy increases, creating more jobs. Investment is affected by interest rates. Businesses check whether an investment is profitable based on interest rates. If interest rates fall, loans become cheaper, making investment more attractive. If interest rates rise, borrowing is expensive, so investment decreases. Example: a company wants to buy new machines. If the loan interest rate is low, the company will invest in machines. If the interest rate is high, the company may delay or cancel the investment. Marginal efficiency of capital curve. MX shows the relationship between interest rates and investment. When interest rates fall, investment increases. ME shifts right. When business confidence is low, investment decreases. ME shifts left. Key takeaway: businesses invest when expected profits are higher than costs. Trick to remember: one word: E investment, M marginal, efficiency, C capital. Equilibrium analysis. Concept: equilibrium means balance. In economics, it is a situation where opposing forces are equal and there is no tendency to change. Key ideas of equilibrium. 1. Meaning of equilibrium. Comes from Latin words equi, equal, and libra, balance. It is a state of rest where no movement happens unless an external force changes it. 2. Economic equilibrium. Microeconomics focuses on partial equilibrium, only one market or sector. Macroeconomics focuses on general equilibrium, entire economy. 3. Aggregate demand, AD, and aggregate supply, AS. AD equals total demand for goods and services in the economy. AS equals total supply of goods and services. When AD equals AS, the economy is in equilibrium. 4. External factors can disrupt equilibrium. If something increases demand or reduces supply, prices go up, disequilibrium. If supply increases or demand falls, prices drop, new equilibrium is formed. Example: market equilibrium. If demand for laptops, supply of laptops, the price remains stable. Economic equilibrium. If total spending, total production, the economy is balanced. Trick to remember: one word: balance, aggregate demand and supply, lack of movement. Modern portfolio theory. Concept: MPT was developed by Harry Markowitz in the 1950s. It helps investors balance risk and return by diversifying their investments. Key ideas of MPT. 1. Return versus risk. Investors want high returns but dislike high risk. MPT suggests spreading investments across different assets to reduce risk. 2. Diversification is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Investing in different types of assets, stocks, bonds, real estate, etc., reduces the chance of losing all money at once. Correlation between assets. If one asset loses value, another might gain, balancing the overall portfolio. Example: if stocks fall, bonds may rise, reducing the total risk. 4. Efficient frontier. The best combination of investments that gives maximum return for minimum risk. Investors should aim to be on this efficient frontier to get optimal portfolios. 5. Risk-free investments. Some assets, like FDIC-insured accounts, bonds, and CDs, provide low risk but also low returns. A good portfolio should balance safe and risky investments. Example: bad portfolio. Investing 100% in one company's stock, very risky. Good portfolio, investing in stocks, bonds, gold, and real estate, balanced and safer. Trick to remember: one word: drive, diversification, risk, I investments, V value, efficient frontier. Equilibrium price, demand and supply forces. Concept: the price of a product is determined by demand, buyers, and supply, sellers. The point where demand equals supply is called the equilibrium price. Key points. 1. Equilibrium price and quantity. The price at which demand equals supply is called the equilibrium price. The quantity at this price is the equilibrium quantity. 2. Graph explanation, figure 5.44. Demand curve, DD, shows how many pens people want at different prices. Supply curve, SS, shows how many pens sellers are willing to sell at different prices. The intersection point E is where demand meets supply, 300, price, and 40,000 pens, quantity. 3. Surplus versus shortage. Price above 300, surplus, supply, demand, prices will fall. Price below 300, shortage, demand, supply, prices will rise. 4. Only one equilibrium. The curves meet only at E, so no other equilibrium is possible. Example: if a pen costs 500, sellers supply too many pens, but buyers don't want as many, surplus. If a pen costs 200, buyers want more pens than sellers can supply, shortage. At 300, buyers and sellers agree, so the market is balanced, equilibrium price. Trick to remember, one word: PSQ rice, equilibrium, shortage, quantity. Calculation of demand-supply equilibrium. Concept: to find the equilibrium price and quantity, we use mathematical equations for demand and supply. Key points. 1. Demand and supply functions. Demand function, QD equal 155p, as price increases, demand decreases. Supply function, QS equals 10p, as price increases, supply increases. 2. Equilibrium condition. Equilibrium occurs when demand equals supply, i.e. QD equals QS. Setting equations equal 150 minus 5p equals 10p, 150p, p equals 10, so equilibrium price equals 10 cent. 3. Finding equilibrium quantity. Substituting p equals 10 in demand equation, QD equals 150 minus 5, 10 equals 100. Substituting p equals 10 in supply equation, QS equals 10 equals 100. So equilibrium quantity equals 100 units. 4. Graphical representation. Demand curve and supply curve SSY meet at point PP. Quantity equals 100 units at point P. The perpendicular from P on both axes shows equilibrium price and quantity. Example: suppose a shop sells pens. If the price is too high, demand decreases. If the price is too low, supply decreases. At tens, demand and supply match, market is balanced. PQ, rice, equilibrium, quantity. Market equilibrium. Concept: market equilibrium is a situation where the quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. It occurs at a price where buyers and sellers agree. If supply or demand changes, equilibrium also changes. Key points. 1. Definition of equilibrium. When demand equals supply, the market is in balance. If supply increases, price falls until a new equilibrium is reached. If demand increases, price rises until a new equilibrium is reached. 2. Buyer and seller behavior. Buyers, demand, react to price changes based on their ability to pay. Sellers, supply, decide how much to sell based on the price they get. 3. Competitive equilibrium. Buyers and sellers interact in a competitive market. In perfect competition, many buyers and sellers exist, and no one can control the price. Each consumer's demand combines to form the market demand curve. Each seller's supply combines to form the market supply curve. 4. Graphical representation. DD curve, demand, slopes downward, higher price equals less demand. SS curve, supply, slopes upward, higher price equals more supply. Point E, equilibrium, intersection of demand and supply curves. OP, equilibrium price. At this price, total demand equals total supply. 5. Effect of price changes. If price OP supply is more than demand, excess supply, price falls. If price OP demand is more than supply, excess demand, price rises. Price adjusts until equilibrium is restored, market self-corrects. 6. Mathematical representation. Demand function, D equal F of P, supply function, S equals GP, equilibrium condition, D equals S. Example: a store sells mobile phones at 20,000. If supply increases, more phones available, price drops to 18,000 to sell extra stock. If demand increases, more people want it, price rises to 22,000 until supply matches demand. Trick to remember. Pets, price, equilibrium, total demand, supply. Changes in market equilibrium. Concept: market equilibrium changes when demand or supply shifts. These changes affect price and quantity in the market. Key points. 1. Increase in demand. If buyer's income increases, demand shifts right, D1. Supply remains same, but demand increases, price rises. New equilibrium price equals higher, new quantity equals more. 2. decrease in demand. If buyers' income decreases, demand shifts left, D1. Supply remains same, but demand decreases, price falls. New equilibrium price equals lower, new quantity equals less. 3. Increase in supply. If technology improves, supply shifts right, SS1. Demand remains same, but supply increases, price drops. New equilibrium price equals lower, new quantity equals more. 4. Decrease in supply. If production reduces, supply shifts left, S1. Demand remains same, but supply decreases, price rises. New equilibrium price equals higher, new quantity less. Example, if Apple increases production of iPhones, more supply, price drops. If people earn more money, they buy more iPhones, more demand, price rises. Trick to remember, one word. DISP, demand increase, demand decrease, S supply increase, S supply decrease. Simultaneous shifts of supply and demand. Concept. Sometimes both demand and supply change at the same time. This can shift the equilibrium price and quantity in different ways. Key points. 1. Both demand and supply increase, equal shift. If demand and supply increase equally, equilibrium quantity increases, but price remains the same. Example, if both buyers want more goods and sellers supply more, there is no price change, only more goods in the market. 2. Demand increases more than supply. If demand increases more than supply, price rises and quantity increases. Example, new iPhone launched, many people want it, but production is slow, price goes up. 3. Supply increases more than demand. If supply increases more than demand, price drops, but quantity increases. Example, too many vegetables in the market, but demand is low, prices fall. 4. Demand increases and supply decreases. If demand rises and supply falls, price increases a lot, quantity may or may not change. Example, gold demand rises, but mines produce less, price jumps up. 5. Demand decreases and supply increases. If demand drops and supply rises, price falls a lot, quantity may or may not change. Example, old model cars have more supply but fewer buyers, price drops. Example, if fuel demand rises but supply remains the same, price increases. If many brands start selling smartphones, supply rises, price drops. Trick to remember, one word. DIPS, demand and supply increase. I increase in demand, supply. Production more than demand, supply less than demand. Short answer type questions. 1. What are the determinants of market structure? 2. State the characteristics of perfect competition. 3. Mention the disadvantages of monopolistic competition. 4. Differentiate between the monopolistic competition and perfect competition. 5. What is monopoly? Mention its characteristics. 6. Explain the firm's equilibrium under monopoly. 7. What are the characteristics of oligopoly? 8. What is kink demand curve? Mention its assumptions. 9. Give the difference between monopoly and oligopoly. 10. State the various factors of production. 11. What is factor pricing? Discuss the need for a separate theory of factor pricing. 12. What is marginal productivity theory? Discuss its assumptions. 13. Explain the factor pricing versus product pricing. 14. Discuss the components of interest. 15. Define the classical theory of interest. 16. Write a note on Keynesian theory of interest. 17. Mention the criticisms of loanable fund theory of interest. 18. Differentiate between modern theory and Keynesian theory. 19. Explain the changes in market equilibrium. ASCAF 5.12-2. Long answer type questions. 1. Define market structure. Illustrate the different types of market structure. 2. Explain the assumptions, advantages, and disadvantages of perfect competition. 3. Discuss the pricing under perfect competition. 4. Elaborate the firms and industry equilibrium under perfect competition. 5. Explain the price determination and firms' equilibrium under monopolistic competition. 6. What is monopolistic competition? Discuss the characteristics and advantages of monopolistic competition. 7. Enumerate the advantages and disadvantages of monopoly. 8. Discuss the pricing under monopoly. 9. What is oligopoly? Discuss its advantages and disadvantages. 10. Describe the price determination and firms' equilibrium under oligopoly. 11. Explain the kinked demand curve and collusive oligopoly. 12. Illustrate objectives and methods of pricing policy. 13. Describe the concept of productivity of a factor in detail. 14. Elaborate the theories of factor pricing in detail. 15. Critically evaluate the marginal productivity theory of distribution. 16. Explain modern theory of distribution. How to determine factor price in modern theory. 17. What is interest? Enumerate the different theories of interest. 18. Briefly describe the market equilibrium.